Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Adil with me today. Adil, how are you?
Yep, I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, well,
Another exciting weekend.
yeah, brilliant. This week, not so much for United.
Lots to talk about. Lots to talk about.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's first start at the West Ham versus Liverpool game. I mean, brilliant win for West Ham. I mean, going third on the table. What a start they have to the season, and I mean, they run Liverpool right. Really, what did you make of it?
Uh, yeah, it's just you can see the development of West Ham. I mean, first half they were under the once they went the goal up. I mean, Liverpool completely dominated the rest of that half, and were knocking on the door and deserved their equalizer really, which is a great free kick from Trent. And yeah, after that I was worried. I thought, okay, getting a goal just before half time, West Ham going to struggle coming out in the second half, but they really got on the front foot. They played with composure. They were the more confident team in the second half, I thought. Yeah, and very good performance, man. Really doing what they've shown all season, which is they've got bags of character. Everyone knows their job. They're defensively solid. Everyone works hard. And yeah, they're really good at, on the break, catching you on side. I mean, and they've exposed the old weaknesses of Liverpool's set piece defending or corner defending. So yeah.
I mean,
I thought by the end of the second half, it was a deserved win.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna get to. I mean, we talk about Alisson, someone who's probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and then you got a centre back in Van Dijk leading that team in those set pieces, and then that goal they conceded, the first goal. I don't know why there's a lot of people complaining about it. I mean, you look at if that was De Gea there, people would be, taking his head off, or if that was Ben Leno. I mean, if you look at after
when we saw it at the start of the season,
the inquest after Arsenal losing to Brentford. But what wasn't that soft from Alisson?
I think it's obvious he got a bit underneath and misjudged the flight.
Yeah,
and even though there was contact between Ogbonna and Alisson, I mean, wasn't a defining factor. At the end of the day, the defining thing was he lost flight of the ball.
Yeah,
and that was more what made him, mispunch the ball than any contact with Ogbonna. And I mean, you can question who's making the contact. Is it because Alisson's moving forward to grab the ball at the same time Ogbonna's moving backwards to header it? So you can't really call that a foul, and I don't think the touch was significant enough. Like you said, if it's De Gea, everyone's going to hit the keeper soft. Needs to be stronger. Yeah, I thought it was the right decision.
Yeah, brilliant decision. What did you? I mean, again, the second goal. Even if you look at the counter attack, I mean, I blame again Trent for that, and even keeper, you can call it. Well, if you see Trent, I mean, he runs, then he kind of stutters and stops for a bit and jogs, and then he realizes, oh damn, he's gone through. Why don't you continue running, seeing that gap and go and cover? He's too much worried about attacking.
He undid his good work with the free kick by, I mean, if anyone can tell me 4 Naz can outsprint Trent.
He's so slow.
Come on. I mean, clearly, obviously, he probably was expecting probably lost concentration because he wasn't expecting Bowen to dribble through 2, 3, 4 players and get that ball across. But it's just a mindset thing, do your job properly and cover your position and cover the run. So yeah, he got punished for switching off. which happens. But obviously, kind of undid his good work with the goal.
This brings the question. This brings the question about Southgate and England, doesn't it? Because that's why he's not picking Trent. He clearly says, obviously, you're a defender. Your first job is to defend properly.
In Southgate's system, the fullbacks defend first. Fair enough. In that system, maybe that's why he goes with other players. But I mean, it's tough because he is very good. He is one of the best right backs, attacking right backs in the world, I would say. But then you can't say, that James or Trippier are terrible either. They're winning big titles and having big influences in matches in for their respective teams as well. So I can see the argument, but I think it's a fair battle. If you have someone who fits your system and your defensive, outlook first, then clearly Trent don't fit in that. But it's an embarrassment of riches in the position, because he is a quality player still. So,
and then the third goal, again, the ball came over all the way across the far post. You got Trent ball watching. Mane is meant to be the blocker. I don't know what blocking he was doing. I mean, he just free run to the back. And what's Alisson doing? Shouldn't he come out and catch that because it's come all the way across to his back post?
I think it's a bit tough. He tried following it. I don't think he could catch that. I mean, that ball had a lot of zip in it. And I just think it's a great goal from Kurt Zouma. I mean, the way his footwork to go all the way around, track that, get over that ball, the jump, he kind of twists on it. The placement in the header is excellent. The power, that was not an easy header. He made that. Made that, and sometimes you have to, as much as you can always find flaws in the defending, especially, the fact that there was no reaction from Trent and maybe Mane, was a bit soft. But Kurt Zouma wanted it more than any Liverpool player. And he spun around 3 or 4 players and then leaped, and that's just a great goal. I mean, those type of goals don't get the credit they deserve because everyone just sees it as a header, but his desire to get on that, that was impressive and kind of shows where Liverpool were at that moment in the game, where West Ham continued to give as much as they got after they scored the second goal, which is different to what they did in the first half. Because first half, once they scored, they completely went into a defensive shell and Liverpool just bombarded them. And when they went 2-1 up, they kind of still went for it, and that, I think that's where Liverpool struggle is when teams go for them and they chase the game because they over attack and they go over, they try
overcommitting
brilliant teams, but then they leave themselves compromised at the back, and then you end up giving away corners and stuff like that on the break. So yeah, they do kind of over attack when they're down.
One player I wanted to mention, kind of gone because of performance of Fornals and Zuma scoring, etc. Declan Rice. I mean, how good has he been this season? I mean, if you look at his stats in terms of, I got it here, blocks for this season, first in the Premier League, interception, first in the Premier League, passing accuracy, first in the Premier League, possession one, first in the Premier League, successful passing, first in the Premier League.
That's for West Ham, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still staggering, isn't it?
Well, it just shows how he's the main, he's become a focal point of the team where a lot of the play now goes through him. And you see it all the time. I mean, he picks up the ball from the defense when the spreads it out wide. When it goes out wide, he's picking it up again. So he's become a lot more confident and influential on the ball.
Do you think he's taken that next step in terms of his midfield positioning? Because obviously we criticized him a lot in terms of his on the ball, etc. During the European Championship.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's definitely playing the ball forward more. His accuracy in his passing has gone better, and he bombs forward a lot of the time. Now you see quite a lot of the times when those breaks are happening, you'll see Declan Rice ain't far off the attackers. He's there to get those rebounds, or to if the ball gets a deflection, he'll pick up. He's not far off that second line, and that's a big effort for him. So yeah, he definitely is making more conscious effort of getting into the box when there's breaks.
In terms of Liverpool, is it just one-off game that they lose, or what did you make of them? It's their first defeat of the Premier League season, so
I just think it's the reality of this season, the Premiership. I don't think there's going to be one team that just dominates it totally. There's so many good teams now, and so many teams are getting, their house in order. So West Ham is just one of those teams that, when you look at their first 11, if they're on it, if they're on a good day, they can cause problems for any team, which they have done. So yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, that's the way Liverpool play. They attack. They go for the kill. They try and outscore, and a lot of the clean sheets they have is because of the excellent individual performances of Matip, Van Dijk, and Alisson. It's not because they're such a solid system in the way they play.
Yeah.
They give up. I mean, that's the Liverpool way. They give chances, not easy chances, because their defenders and their individuals are so good, but their system isn't a system like Chelsea's and City's, where they don't really give up many chances.
Yeah.
Liverpool is, if you go direct, if you go on a quick counter, there's always a chance you will create a chance against them. So I wouldn't worry. That's just the way Liverpool play, and today didn't work out. And it's against a good team at the end of the day.
No, of course. I mean, very well done.
And they've targeted an area of weakness of Liverpool's, which is set piece defending. First one was near post, the second one was at the back. So they mixed it up.
Well, I mean, the third one is in the back post. The second one is in the middle of the goal, and they almost scored from him in Rice.
Yeah. So
they're done really. I mean, they're sitting third, so I mean, credit to West Ham. Above.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham are a big team. I know their forward players are quite small, but when you look at, you got Souček, Ogbonna, Zuma, Antonio,
you can't forget the big man.
So even Declan Rice is got size. The big guys are big, and the small guys are small. That's how it is. So.
But the biggest thing, they got a brilliant balance in the team, and I think that's what's helping them a lot. The balance within the team.
Yeah, I mean that's the that's the way Moyes likes it.
Reminds me of the old Everton. I know how he was with Everton, etc. You knew you were out for a game when you used to go to Everton.
Yeah, I mean he's got them competing, but the thing is they're less direct. They're actually playing football on the ground more, so which is good, and they got a few more playmakers. They're not lumping it to Fellaini and
Tim Cahill. Do you remember Tim Cahill?
So yeah, so now he's got them going places, and like we said last week, they are improving. That's the key thing, is they've improved.
And another thing is they got a smallish squad, but they're also in Europe, so they're doing brilliantly well.
But I don't think they got a smallish squad. What it is everyone feels like they're part of that team.
Yeah.
So whoever he's bringing in, they all feel like they're involved. So even the guys in who play in Europe, the Lanzinis and all of them guys, Masuaka, whoever, they do feel like they're involved. So that's the key, is making sure everyone feels a part of it, the squad. Even if they're not playing as many minutes as the others.
Fair. Let's move on to Man City. United versus Man City. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know where to begin.
Let's begin with how happy you are.
I'm just saying it was just shocking some of the stuff they were doing again.
Yeah, so all right.
Again.
So you want me to go on another rant,
I
basically?
that's exactly what I want.
All
That's why
right.
I'm leaving the floor open
Let's
for you.
start.
I'm leaving the floor
All
open.
right. You tell me a manager who changes their formation the way Oli does every half time. I mean, the two formations he keeps switching from aren't even close. Like you'll see the top managers, they make tweaks to their system.
Yeah.
You know, when Tuchel wants to get an extra midfielder, he drops one of the 10s and goes to 3 in the middle.
Yeah.
It's still 5 at the back. Instead of 2 10s, is 1 10, 1 striker. Or they go 2 up top.
2 up top, yeah.
Klopp, slight changes, variations. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Oli moving from a 5-3-2 to a 4-2-3-1. Two systems are totally different. Like, what is he trying to build here? How are you instilling confidence in your players when you're totally changing your game plan at halftime? Done the same thing against Atalanta. So how are you building confidence with your players that you know what you're doing if you're completely changing the philosophy or the shape? And it's not like you don't know how City are going to set up. Like sometimes a team might do a surprise and that catches you off guard, and so you need to make a tweak. That could happen in any game.
Of course.
But City played the way City played. The formation was the formation. The players was the play. You know, there was nothing that was out of the ordinary. So if you've gone with this system of 5-3-2, you must have really set up and believed that this is the system that's going to stop City and also cause them problems.
Or do you reckon he thought he's just gonna hold them off? Do you think that's why he thought hold them off until halftime, then go to a more attacking and
No, it's just what Oli is, which is he's always trying to cover for areas of weakness in some of his top players. You know, he's still trying to cover for lack of intensity and lack of legs or in the middle of the pitch by going to the system. But like we said last week, you could not get a better team to play that system against, because last week Reguilon and Emerson never pushed up once to expose the fact that Man United don't have anyone out wide other than the fullbacks. So guess what happens? Cancelo and Walker, they played as wingers the whole game. And guess who's getting the assists and causing all the problems? The two fullbacks. It's just common sense. And I don't get how you can set up with that formation and think you're going to get away with it against this City formation. I mean, if you're doing your research, if you're doing your analysis, what's the point of having people scout the opposition and give you feel if you're just going to stick to a system that from the off ain't going to work?
I think you should apply for the job as an analyst for United. Ole might take you in.
To do what? To ignore everything I say? Nah. if he can't listen to Phelan and he's got his godfather Alex understands advising. If they can't do it, no one else can. But on a serious note, where is the identity of United? We've been asked for a few weeks, for a few years, even since he's taken over. It's always questioned, what is he building towards? Because now he's changed the formation to such a it's such a drastic change. I don't know of any top managers who make such drastic changes.
But I don't think this is something he's used before. It's just come out of nowhere.
And this is an easy example because of the fact that he's doing better now, Arteta. The example is he's not drastically changed from what he's trying to do. People might not like it, might not like the football, might not find it as exciting as the way Arsenal used to be before. But he's stuck. So there's something he believes in, and he's got all new players and young players in. So now they all believe in what he's trying to do, and he's working well. Now, what is Solskjaer doing to make anyone believe? Like, we don't know what he's trying to do. We don't know if it's a possession-based team, counter-attack team. It's just everything just changes according to the last result or what the media says or what the pressure is.
That second goal was a joke, by the way. I don't know what Shaw, Maguire, and De Gea were doing.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
And
No one calls out Maguire, but you tell me any other big club that will continue to play a defender that is so much out of form. I mean, they did it last year. They brought him back early while he never had a preseason and he struggled. And yeah, by the second half of the year, where he got his legs, he's up to the rhythm. Yeah, he got back to the old Harry Maguire. But the thing is, what big club do you know is that desperate that they keep playing a player? Soon as they come back from injury, they don't even have to have training. They're straight. Even Klopp, and Liverpool are reliant on Van Dijk. We saw what happened to him last year. Yeah. But even at the start of this season, Klopp took his time before he brought Van Dijk in. You know, everyone, no one is that. And what does that tell you? That's Ollie's system. Ollie's philosophy is players, not the system. He doesn't trust that if players play his system, that will stop teams or that will score goals. His philosophy is players. Players are going to do something and make things happen. Players are going to stop this. And that's why he keeps struggling to, one, have a motivated squad, but two, he struggles because those players like Shaw will lose motivation, will start slacking.
I mean, what's happened to Wan-Bissaka as well? I mean,
but but
he looks lost on that pitch.
But who else would continue to play Wan-Bissaka?
I mean, you got Dalot. I mean, he wasn't bad at AC Milan last year. I mean, why are you not playing him?
Even you can play Bailly as a right back. Lindelof plays okay as a right.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Is, you know, he's just stuck on his favorites. He's so busy about managing the characters and worried about managing the characters of his first team that he doesn't have. You know, just doesn't have that. And you can see the division in the team as well. Yes, I mean, against City, you could see the division in this. You got the Spanish-speaking, Portuguese-speaking core, the Brazilians, the Spanish, the Portuguese. They're all trying to do something separate, which is they're all wanting to push up the pitch, press high up, and then you got the British core who are trying to stay in and be defensive, and you know, stay in their blocks and be a bit tentative. And you can see that in the game. You can see in the way they communicate to each other, who's saying things to what. So you've got identity crisis because one, you got a split in the dressing room. You can see that on the pitch. In my opinion, the Spanish core and the Brazilians and the Portuguese are on one side. You got the British core on another side, and they are all trying to do different things. And you see it in the matches all the time. You see it in the way they communicate. You'll see a fist pump to De Gea, but no one say anything to Maguire and Shaw. You get there is division at the club. You can tell that much. And you know,
until the second goal, De Gea was keeping them in it really. He's making some brilliant saves.
I don't know. I mean, he still continues to make mistakes. You know, he still continues to make mistakes, and you know, there's no excuses for. And this is the thing. Everyone talks about. All right, there is an identity problem. There is a philosophy problem. But the biggest problem United have is concentration. They switch off every single time. It's been a problem for, you know, you look at even the first goal. You know, it's people switching off.
Yeah.
It's just people not, you know, everyone keeps going on Fernandes. No, it wasn't Fernandes' job to come out. It's Wan-Bissaka's job. Why do you need two people in the box picking up nobody? You know, you don't need Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka in that front post.
You got Eric
Then
Bailly
you
as well.
don't need Bailly switching off. You don't need they're going crazy at Fernandez or why he working harder to close down. He's a central midfielder. You have a right wing back.
Right centre back as well. Yeah.
Why aren't they picking up Cancelo for the cross? So I just think, yeah, the biggest problem at United is concentration. They're timid. I mean, they're soft. We said that last year. They lack leadership. They're soft, and you're seeing all these things come to pass now because the confidence has gone. So, look, City's a good team. So,
it's expected.
I was surprised City didn't go for the kill, knowing that it's a derby. They kind of played it like a training match.
That second half was just like, well, the first 10 minutes, all right, you know what? They allowed kind of United to gas themselves out, thinking they're gonna do something, and then it was just one-way stream thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even at the end of the game, it was City, looking like they're gonna extend the scoreline, not United. So
yeah, it is.
Was the formation so bad? When you look at the errors, like the own goal, it's inexplicable error. Mm-hmm. It's not an error in the system. It's not City have carved you open and created a chance. It's a guy switching off a standard clearance. He doesn't even need to slide at it. He could have just given out full corner, or he didn't even need to stretch for it. He wanted to do a fancy clearance and slices it into his own goal. It's just an inexplicable individual error. The ball that Harry Maguire and Shaw and then De Gea allowed, these are inexplicable. It's not the system. So that's the other thing I couldn't understand is if you built up the team in 5-3-2, why are you suddenly changing at halftime? As if those were the reasons for the goals conceded. Fine, if you're changing it because of poor performance or whatnot, fine. But at the end of the day, the real problem was that those goals were down to lack of concentration. It wasn't down to the system.
Let me ask you. I mean, he took Eric Bailly off, obviously, because of the own goal, probably, I assume, and he's changing it. So, I mean, there was a lot of other players that were playing poorly. Why not take them off? Shaw was not even in the game. Bissaka wasn't even in the game. Maguire doesn't look like he's on.
No, but the others are first teamers, so he wants to keep them happy.
Then how does it give any confidence to someone coming in? They know they're going to come in. I make a little error. All right, it wasn't a little error, but I'm gonna get taken out.
Look, Bailly made a mistake for that goal. But then he was probably, man of the match. Everyone's giving it to McTominay. I don't know why. Bailly was man of the match against Atalanta. He done a couple of last-ditch tackles that were, clear-cut goals. If he didn't do those blocks, come across, he was the best of the bunch in defense anyway. Now, Harry Maguire made a mistake against Atalanta. He's made a mistake here.
Made a mistake against, I think, Poole as well.
All season, but he's not going to get dropped. And this is the only problem, is he has favourites. He only trusts them. His backups, he doesn't trust. When he plays them only when he has to. So they all know it's a tokenistic gesture.
I'll tell you what, you say
these
that.
These players aren't bad, though.
It's funny when Van de Beek came on. Everyone was just like, oh, you really want me on?
No, but the thing was, what was bad was the whole stadium started clapping and cheering the fact that he was coming on, which is now starting to show that the loyalty for Ole is going. Even the booing at the full time was louder than the previous game. I do think the tide is starting to turn on Ole in the sense that fans, as loyal as they are to him as being a legend of the club, they can actually see, and you look at it, who's really improving under him as a player.
Do you think the writing's on the door? Do you reckon he'll go before December?
I think that totally depends on how the results go over the next month. I mean, if the gap to the top four gets big, they'll make the call.
You know the
If
thing
he
with
manages to, keep United in the fight, they'll probably leave it until the end of the year. But yeah, I'm saying it early. I think they're waiting on Poch, and I think PSG.
wait, that was Zidane.
Yeah, well, they're waiting to get rid of Poch. You can tell they're not happy or impressed with him. So, yeah, everyone's just waiting to who makes the first move because Poch ain't doing bad enough for them to sack him yet. So they're waiting for that opportunity to move on from Poch so Zidane can come in. And I think, when that happens, United will be happy to get rid of Oli a bit more quickly. Early predictions.
Heard it here first. In terms of City, I mean, they're just going about their business. I mean, they had a little slack last game, and again, I mean, brilliant win again away at United. What did you make of them?
I don't know. I worry about City. I still worry about them because of the fact that
clinical edge, I would say.
Yeah, they dominate teams and they're looking so good, but they do lack cutting edge. And the other thing is, like games like that. I mean, Liverpool showed their quality.
But did you see that stat? Did you see that stat of like zero? Like in 6 games, they scored 0 goals.
Who?
Man City this year. I mean, that shows it.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. Sometimes you can enjoy the football so much that you lack that cutting edge, that intensity. I mean, it seems like they got so much intensity off the ball to win the ball back, but they lack that intensity to score. That drive to, I don't know. Season will tell, innit? I mean, maybe they because they've got Europe and loads of games coming up. They just decide to take the second half off, which they could.
I'll talk about Guerrero. Hope he gets well soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right. That's a big one. I wanted you to go a bit more, but right, I'll allow him. I'll allow it for next time.
Why don't you then?
I don't need to. Right, let's look at the next team. Chelsea against Burnley. 1-1.
Yeah. Smash and grab. Nothing else to say about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how Chelsea didn't win that by 4 or 5. I mean,
but again, do you reckon that's because of that striker missing?
No, because this one the chances they had were gilt edge.
Yeah.
It's you could say the quality of the finisher wasn't there. At the end of the day, Hudson-Odoi,
it's like last year without a striker, is it? That's what I was saying in terms of.
Yeah, and they lacked composure, man. They really did lack composure. Even Barkley on a couple of occasions, good positions, blasts a shot. That's the difference that Mount brings or Lukaku brings. Is they'll place a shot. They know they're confident in what they're doing, and a lot of the players yesterday was like snatching at the shots or blasting it, and just lacked that general composure.
Are you surprised with the fact that obviously he had Mount on the bench and he brought him on so late?
No, because Mount was ill. So at the end of the day,
cool.
I think he just passed the late fitness test and it's touch and go whether he was going to play or even be on the bench. So no, I wasn't really surprised they left it that late.
They also had Ziyech who scored in
and it's not like Chelsea were playing really good.
Yeah,
they were playing really good. And Burnley, second half they started to get more comfortable, push players forward, but that also left gaps for Chelsea to create, bigger and better chances. And they played well.
Still got
Burnley done well. They deserved what they got at the end because they stuck in there.
Yeah, they got 3 points gaps. I'm saying Chelsea still. That's one game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think drawing or losing is that significant this season.
Yeah,
because I just don't think anyone's going to run away with it. Most teams are going to drop points because the league is so tough now.
Yeah.
especially when you're coming up for a European week, where if you think about it, Liverpool had a real tough game against Atletico. Chelsea had a tough game against Genk.
Sending off helped.
Was it Genk? Yeah. Well, whoever Chelsea played, they had to work hard for it. It was a 1-0. City again was comfortable, and that's why they won. Against United, so who played in Europe too. So I think it is going to have an effect now.
Next one, Arsenal 1-0 winners at Watford. What did you make of that?
Look, controversy.
Yeah,
controversial goal.
Yes.
I mean,
definitely sporting wise, they gave it back.
There were 3 reasons to not give that goal, and I'm a bit surprised it got given. I'll be honest.
What did you? It was a free.
I'll be honest. I didn't like the way Arteta went on about it.
Mm.
He wasn't acknowledging it. At the end of the day, it is bad sportsmanship. The other team kicked the ball out because their player was down. Both teams were doing that the whole game. For you suddenly not to give the ball back. And the thing is, it wasn't like some players didn't realize. The whole Watford team stopped playing. Everyone had their arms up. Everyone was saying, "Kick the ball out, give the ball back." So, and then it was a clear-cut foul on Sarr. I mean, that's as clear a block as you can get off the ball.
Mm.
And that did influence the game because that changed a potential pass the player was going to make. So, but credit where credit's due. White showed great leadership, great hunger, showed the drive that everyone was expecting. He looks like he's getting, really comfortable as a leader at Arsenal. And Smith Rowe again, another good first-time finish, which I've noticed that's where he's quite good when he just shoots first time. His shooting is better.
Do you think his shooting is better when it's just instinct and it's just...
Yeah, just instinct. It's not great. Even then, it's not great, but it's on target. But when he takes a touch and tries to place it, oh my gosh, off target nearly all the time. Not even testing the keeper. So...
And then, wait. Aubameyang. I mean, what a day.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling.
I mean, he missed the penalty. Then he cleared it. I mean, well, even the other chance, the one Saka was offside. I mean, that was for him to take. He should have had a hat trick. I mean, they're easy chances.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in the best of form. But the thing is, he's one of those players, isn't it? Because he's always going to get on the end of chances. I mean, those days where he's going to score nice goals is like you can just see all he does is peel off to the back and he's waiting for the the open goals and he's gonna but he doesn't look like the force he was but impressive. I mean, I think that's why unbeaten in 8 now, Arsenal in the league.
Yeah.
And they won most of them. So wasn't the greatest of games.
The thing is, again, it's 1-0 as most of the other games. It doesn't seem like we're not going and scoring 2, 3.
But like I said last week, and it's a very Mourinho approach: defense first. Mm-hmm. Everyone gets back. Everyone goes into their block, and it's solid. It's tough. I mean, they're not giving up clear-cut chances, and it's working.
The one at the end. King, what I missed.
Oh yes, but the Rams, the Joshua King one, but that's not down to. That's just a communication. I mean, a poor error from Ramsdale, but they look solid. They're not.
I'll allow Ramsdale for that because of the way he's been performing. I can allow it. I won't go and run.
I think they're at a good place. They look good.
Well, big game.
Solid, isn't it? They're just a solid team right now.
Well, away at Anfield next week. Not next week. Next game week.
After the international break, yes.
Already giving me a headache.
But the international breaks are just getting too frustrating now.
Yeah, and
you keep coming when you feel like
It felt like it was 2 weeks ago. It felt like it was 2 weeks ago. It's just so annoying.
Yeah, because they've added an extra window in just to get the.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, normally, yeah, they added extra. I think the last one was the extra window that they added.
What?
Or this one.
It's
One of these doesn't normally happen, basically.
because, like, the Premier League just like it seems like it's going to that boiling point, really exciting, and then bam, international break, and it just like ruins your whole freaking weekend.
Yeah,
well, like other people.
2 weeks.
I love the Premier League and the games.
Yeah.
Part of life, unfortunately. Who else? Leicester 1-1 against Leeds.
Yeah, Leicester struggling in it. They're not the team that they were used to seeing, and it's natural. I mean, they've exceeded expectation for 2 seasons in a row.
Do you think Europe's maybe playing a part? Because
it didn't last year, so it doesn't make sense why they were able to handle it last year, but they suddenly can't this. So I just think they brought new players, and their thing is their defense has just completely lost its way. Johnny Evans, at the moment he got injured, Fofana stepped up big time.
Yeah,
and then.
Oh, you mean
Soyuncu
went? Yeah, when Soyuncu went.
But what that shows is Fofana and Johnny Evans were the players that kind of gave Soyuncu the confidence to play well, because he's really struggled. A lot of the goals are his fault, so that they concede. So, yeah, they've just defensively become quite weak.
What about Leeds? It just seems like, the Leeds we saw.
They're struggling with that. I mean, so much of their game, Bamford is such a focal point for them. And they've just not adjusted to him, and you can see it. I mean, they don't. No matter what, I mean, whether you like or rate him or not, Bamford causes problems. He's always getting chances. He's always putting himself about. He's good at linking up the play. He's a big part of the way Leeds play, and you can see since his injury, the drop off. They just don't have that cutting edge, and it's just taking. Individual magic from Rafinha to keep them going. And I mean, they'll have a tough task keeping Rafinha. I mean, since he's now broken into the Brazil team, scored a couple of goals on his debut, all the big clubs are looking at him abroad and local. So
he's got 5 already this season, Rafinha has.
Yeah, he's really taken on the mantle of, carrying this Leeds team. He's the only one who really looks so full. A lot of players are hitting their level. Phillips has been a bit disappointing. Harrison has been non-existent. Dallas hasn't been great. So it just shows, I think, Bamford makes a lot of it work because, he's good at being a target man, bringing people into the play, but he's also good at stretching it. He gets the right mix of doing both. So the others are more playmakers, and that doesn't quite, they lack that, that threat in behind now.
Last but not least, let's just talk about Conte's first game in the Premier League for Tottenham.
Yeah,
I mean 0-0.
Very Italian. 0-0.
Italian.
Yeah, I think Leeds. I mean, Everton had the better chances.
Yeah,
even though Tottenham had more possession, they didn't really do much with it. And right near the end, unlucky, Lo Celso hit the post. So that's the way Conte's gonna win the first few games, is through mentality. They're not gonna play great, but they're gonna grind out wins. They're gonna, throw everything at the end against the dice and try and, through mentality, try and get their goals. But
he's gonna take time to embed.
Because Conte is like Klopp and Pep, where they really, really want pre-season, and pre-season is a big part of setting up the base for what they're going to do during the season. So I don't think people should expect so much.
Well, they got an international break. Hopefully that will help a bit.
Well, most of those players will be gone.
Will be away, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that will help in terms of, setting the tone and getting some of the backups on the squad players get better, and because that'll increase competition. So yeah, it will definitely help.
Right, Adil, thank you for coming on today. For those of you watching, thank you for watching. And
big thing we forgot to mention.
What's that?
It's the sacking time of the year.
Oh yeah, two sacking. Damn, thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
And the possible appointment of Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe. Oh yeah, I think they got a principal agreement.
Yeah, they got pretty much agreement in place. Come on, he's sitting next to them.
Yeah,
watching the game, smiling. So
it's done. It's done.
Pretty inevitable. And I think.
What do you make of that?
It's a good signing.
Came out of nowhere though. That came out of nowhere because they were linking everybody. Yeah,
I think he was always linked, but they want someone international, but no one's available. I mean, you got to have someone who's going to build them up a bit, and I mean, it might be a bit of a struggle because they've been playing so defensively for so long, and now you got a manager who likes to play attacking football. But they got the players. It's not like Saint Maximin and Almiron and.
Do you reckon they'll spend a bit of money in
they'll definitely spend in January. I mean, they're gonna want to make some sort of statement, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I mean, they're second last, so
yeah, they're gonna have to make some investment, definitely.
Then the last sitting last, Farke's time has come to an end at Norwich.
Yeah, it just shows.
Would you say surprising?
I was surprised they did it, but I rate Stuart Webber a lot, who's the main chief exec there, and he's a winner, and he obviously that shows the ruthlessness that you need. It's not an emotional. You can't be emotional when you make these decisions. You have to stick to the facts, and if you look at the problems Norwich have, it's the exact same problems that they had 2 years ago. And when you look at it, he hasn't really improved on the key areas. I mean, you could keep getting similar players of the same type, but at the end of the day, where's your plan B? And what if you're replacing one player who's similar to what he is, and why are you really improving? And the area where they struggled the most, he hasn't improved. If you look at it, it's still Grant Hanley at the back. I remember 2 seasons ago, he struggled until he got injured. Even Krul wasn't great in the Premiership last season. I know he does well in the Championship, but when he played so he hasn't got another keeper. He hasn't got better centre backs in. They've gone weaker because who was their best defender? Godwin or whatever. It's gone to Godfrey. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, they're weaker there. Why have they really improved? Probably Eddie Lewis was better than the left backs they currently got now. So if you think about it.
Oh, you mean Jamal Lewis? Sorry.
Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis.
Eddie Lewis. You got Eddie Howe still in your head.
Yeah. So they're not exactly improved in areas. They haven't strengthened their defensive midfield. So I just think.
But do you think that he's not being given the money? Is that what it is?
Well, they spent 27 mil. They spent 27 mil. But basically what they did was they got a lot of loan players in for their Championship, and then they committed to signing those players who were good players in the Championship. I mean, they were all performed well in the Championship, but, as they've seen 2 years ago, being good for the Championship doesn't mean you're good enough for the.
But then that shows as a whole board they're not learning. Then it's not just.
Well, that's what they are, because they gave him his chance, that they moved on from him now, even after he won. I think that's a good thing. And I think the fact that they were holding on at the end against Brentford probably convinced them we need to move on. I'm sure they have someone lined up. Early rumours are Lampard or something, but I don't know. I was thinking, that might be a decent first job for someone like John Terry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even one of the rumors was Steve Bruce, and I was like, how on earth are you going to Steve Bruce? He might be a legend at Norwich, but.
Adi, what about Big Sam?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to suit that squad. He proved with West Brom that he's not quite. Roy Hodgson, could be a shout. Steady, will play decent football, get them up. But The one I'm really surprised about is Dean Smith.
Dean Smith, yes.
I think that's a bit harsh.
That came out of nowhere. They bought a lot of new players. It's going to take time to bed in.
Yeah,
so.
and a lot of those new players got injured. So
Yeah.
I think that's harsh because it's not like they've been performing bad. You know, it's a lot of the games they've lost recently, especially have been games where it's been tight games, even games. You know, like against Southampton, I thought they were good in the second half.
They lost 5 in a row. Do you reckon that's what it's down to because of the losses?
Yeah, obviously, you know, losing 5 in a row, but they obviously lost faith in him. But I think the main thing with them is they've probably got someone they feel better lined up, which is that is it Hulman or something, the Denmark manager. So you know, a lot of their hierarchy is Danish. You know, like Christian Persler, I think, has got Danish thingy. I think one of the CEOs is Danish. So you know, and we saw with Denmark, they were one of the better teams of the Euros.
Yes.
They got to the semi-final. I really liked the football they played. They always went for it. They always attacked well. So I think it's more that they maybe have a good manager lined up that they're really keen on.
Do you think they
still harsh on Dean Smith?
Yeah, as a club, they're trying to go to that next step, as in the next level of pushing for the
Well, the investment they've made over the years.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like you know, Dean Smith hasn't been backed. He has been. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I mean, some of the prices they paid, I thought were too much. So, you know, for the players that they've signed, you know, that might be the reason why. That might be the reason why.
When clubs know you got 100 million in your bank, I'm sure they ask for a few more million more.
Yeah, but some of those signings were before they even sold Grealish.
Yeah.
So either way, you know, they're not. You know, I'm not sure. I think they overpaid for quite a few of those players. So, definitely. But definitely a surprise that
came out of nowhere, to be honest. That one.
Yeah.
Adil, thank you. I think that's a wrap. I don't think I've forgotten anything else. Got a fish pain nowadays for some reason. But Adil, thank you for coming on. For those of you watching, thank you for watching, and please like, share, subscribe, and see you soon.
Yes.